Mazda says this can take on the likes of BMW and Audi. However, in the current SUV market, does it shine or does it disappear? I'm Carlin and this is the refined Mazda CX-60. I'm tempted to say it. You know what? I actually will. The CX-60 looks like a posh bodybuilder that dominates a 9-to-5 as an executive while being able to get home and help the kids with their homework. Now, the 2025 model year has gone through a number of performance enhancements, and I'm sure it's addressed a few of the concerns from the previous generation. Basically, this is an ideal family car with great space all around. It also happens to mean business with luxury styling and comfort. Now, Mazda has a reputation of building cars that are dependable and affordable, like the CX-5 and the Mazda3. Well, the CX-60 is that and more, but it does have a lot of competition to go up against. Thankfully, it doesn't have to try too hard. Well, on paper it doesn't. Let's start with its size. I can't get over how large this car is, with a side profile spanning just over 4.7 meters and a width of 2.1 meters. This makes it larger than most of its competitors. In other words, it's huge and thick, just like your mom. The other point where the CX-60 has a leg up on its competitors is its pricing, starting with the Dynamic Edition or the base variant for just over 700,000 Rand. Going up to 1 million Rand for the Takumi edition, which would make the CX-60 Mazda's first ever million Rand car in South Africa. However, there is a third option, the CX-60 Individual, a happy in-between that costs under 900,000 Rand. Let's check it out. Now, the best way to describe the CX-60 Individual is it takes the best from the rest of the range and puts it together. I'm talking about the 2.5 litre engine paired up with the all-wheel drive system, as well as an 8-speed automatic transmission. That's a lot of toys to play with. Now, that 2.5 litre engine produces 141 kilowatts with 261 Newton meters of torque, adequate for this large family SUV and great for pulling medium-sized trailers with smooth power delivery and control. The power is sent to the all-wheel drive system through Mazda's Skyactiv drive, an 8-speed auto which in this 2025 model has gone through refinements to deliver smoother low-speed shifts, something that was a sour point in the previous models. Besides the updates to the transmission, the other improvements on the CX-60 are revised suspension in the form of softer rear springs with tuned dampeners for better ride quality and comfort, which is also partly thanks to the recalibration of the stability control. Mazda has also reduced engine and transmission noise for a quieter cabin and calibrated the steering for sharper, more relaxed driving. Now, all of these changes aim to make the CX-60 a more refined, premium feeling SUV, but those could all just be words. Let's actually take it out and see how it handles. Okay, so I had a pre-notion about the CX-60 based on the old platform, but this is the new one, so this is a honest review in the moment. It's really soft. It's probably thanks to those performance enhancements to the suspension that have made it this comfortable. It's light and soft, but not in the sense where it feels unstable and wobbly. It's actually very stable. There is a little bit of body roll, but I think that's because I'm sending it around the corners with a little bit of speed. Honestly, you can't even notice it. And if I didn't tell you it was there, you probably wouldn't even notice it was there either. Speaking of speed, it's not instantly quick. So it's not a sport SUV, so don't expect it to be that. The power is delivered gradually, so as soon as you put your foot down, there's a linear sort of delivery of it, which is actually kind of nice for this SUV. I think everyone is searching for an SUV that can get them to A to B the quickest, whereas this is going to get you there comfortable. I want to talk about the drive modes before we get into the handling and economy. There are 3 drive modes to the CX-60. You have normal, you have sport, and you have off-road. Now with the off-road, I wasn't really able to test it. I'm assuming it's very, gradual off-roading. I don't think you're going to be able to take this on like a 4x4 trail. So maybe dirt roads and stuff, that would probably be the safest for off-road. Now for normal and sport, those are the 2 main ones I tested while driving the CX-60. Normal I just used for normal, day-to-day driving, and I think that's going to be your default setting. Whereas sport, you can really feel that 141 kilowatts from the engine going down to the wheels. Listen, it's not going to be efficient, and yeah, that's exactly what you're going to get from sport mode. Whereas if you're looking for a more of an efficient, drive from the CX-60, keep it in normal. It really does a great job of balancing power and efficiency. Okay, that naturally aspirated 2.5 is a drinker. It's not as efficient as I thought it would be. The economy is really not the best. I've gotten high 11s to mid 12s, and that was just with a mixture of normal city driving with a little bit of highway play going to the mall and back. Yeah, this is one thirsty SUV. And that poor economy translates to a really bad range. I'm not impressed with it. Like, I could barely get over 400 and something odd kilometers on a single tank, and that was with just the basic driving. So if you live close to everything you need, this is an ideal and perfect SUV for you. But if you're expecting to get great mileage for a lot of city traveling, I'm not sure this is the one. But yeah, listen, maybe on a longer trip the actual range is ideal. I think you could get that 500 mark, so maybe the next time I get the 3.3, we'll see how that handles. The steering provides great feedback but can feel a little weighted. It's not going to break your wrist, but it might be a little heavy around certain bends. The CX-60 absorbs a lot of the road in the sense that a lot of the comfort is given to you by the dampeners in the suspension, which have obviously been modified. But I think the coolest and freshest thing about the CX-60 is it seems to be just eating up a lot of the terrible stuff on the road. To summarize the CX-60, it's really just a very capable SUV. It's not aiming to be anything super special other than what it was built for: comfort, reliability, practicality, and stability. Sadly, consumption might be the red flag on this. So as you can see, the CX-60 is quite a large SUV, but now you might be thinking, with a larger canvas, there's a need to paint more. Not really, and I think Mazda has kept the CX-60 quite plain and simple. You're probably thinking, well, that's pretty boring. I say no. This looks like the portrayal of something that combined three words: timeless, futuristic, and regal, all in this elegant design. Just look at the front, it's quite imposing. And I had a moment where I was getting rollers, and this thing in front has a lot of intimidating presence. The glossy black grille with the LED DRLs and headlights just create a cool yet mildly aggressive face for the CX-60, with the inclusion of these narrow channels that provide some sort of sporty aesthetic to the front. Moving along to the side profile, three things stand out for me. The 20-inch alloys are okay, not my favorite design, as I do prefer the design on the highest spec Takumi with the two-tone design pattern. However, these wheels do fill up the wheel arch nicely and complement the side profile. The second detail is the subtle crease lines along the fenders and side skirts, which introduce a pleasant contrast to the side profile, further enhanced by the slim fender guards and, check this out, large doors to make getting in and out simple. The last noticeable thing about the side profile is the actual profile. It looks really fast in the front with a long engine hood line, and we get a more traditional SUV look with the high roofline and more rounded back. Why in 2025 are we still doing fake exhausts? These look absolutely great with this quad pipe design, but are as useful as a front desk at a South African police station. If you are South African, you'll know what I'm talking about. Looks good, but is ultimately useless. The rest of the back is pretty standard, with character being added in the form of the spoiler, the LED lights, badging, and the subtle lip on the bumper. You know what, looking at the exterior of the XC60, it's distinctively Mazda, blending clean surfaces, low-key design to give you a premium, elegant finish on a car. Okay, we've established it's a good-looking SUV, but is the CX-60 a practical one? Yes, SUVs can be impractical in some cases, whether it be space, convenience, safety, or tech. Let's see if the CX-60 hits or misses any of these. Starting with space, now the outside profile is actually quite deceiving, as it does seem the cabin is squashed to the rear of the car, when in actual fact it's quite the opposite. The boot alone is massive, with an approximate 477 litres, ample for a family of 4 getaway. And with the rear seats dropped thanks to these convenient latches, it extends to over 1,700 litres. The rear seats offer semi-decent space and comfort, with aircon vents, USB-C ports, a fold-down armrest with cup holders and pockets. I say semi-decent as the space is dependent on the front seat position, which for a taller driver like me leaves little room in the back. The biggest pro of the rear is the headroom, which is amazing, and with the sunroof offers great ambience. Now the front cabin, where my review gets a little bit hard because it's absolutely great. It just has a few knick-knack issues. Let's start with the seats. Both passenger and driver have electronic seat adjustment, but the added bonus for the driver is the memory feature. Cami and I have very different seating positions. Thankfully, with the CX-60, it allows you to customize your driving position and save it as a driving profile. Not only will your seat adjust to your height, but so will the steering wheel as it moves to a comfortable position. Here is the coolest part. Each profile once set is managed by facial recognition, so when you or someone the car is set to enters it, it'll automatically adjust to that person. The space is otherwise great, enough wiggle room, even with this huge wall of a center column, which I have a love-hate relationship with. Okay, the majority of your cubby space for the front is the center console, which houses your wireless charger, your shifter, and your media control buttons, all in a great, reaching position. It's such a cockpit sort of vibe that's going on here. The biggest issue I have is the center console storage or the armrest. It's these dual doors that I just hate so much. Say if you put something on this side, it might shift to that side, and then it just seems a little bit impractical, I'm not gonna lie to you. But other than that, the center console is pretty good looking. Now, the next love-hate point is the infotainment system. With this crisp 12-inch display, which is very high quality, that supports wireless Android Auto and CarPlay, and is pretty well laid out in terms of menus and settings. The biggest thorn about the system, it isn't touchscreen, rather you have to use this navigation dial here. It's good for the most part, but can get a little inefficient when navigating certain menus or even CarPlay. Moving along with the rest of the front cabin, look, if Volvo is the poster child for minimalism for interior cabins, then this is the poster child for visible controls, as there are a ton of buttons spread over the console, dash and steering. In 2025, 2026, the gold standard for any car is a touchscreen. I don't mind if they had included the dial with a touchscreen, but yeah, maybe that can be updated with the future generation. So in terms of safety, the CX-60 has all your standard stuff: ABS, dynamic stability control and traction control, as well as hill hold and descent control. You also get a comprehensive iActiveSense safety suite that comes with front and rear collision avoidance, MRCC or Mazda radar cruise control that will adjust your speed according to the car ahead of you, lane keep and departure warning, and traffic sign recognition. The CX-60 is also capable of monitoring your blind spots while changing lanes, and even watching out for cross traffic when reversing or pulling out at junctions. These safety systems all rely on the amazing high quality sensors and cameras around the CX-60. The cameras also give you a 360 bird eye view, great for parking and making tricky turns. Alright, now the sound system, which is actually powered by an impressive 12-speaker Bose audio system with great clarity and bass. Say you run out of data while using maps on CarPlay. Thankfully, you have a built-in satellite navigation. The last mentionable piece of tech is the HUD, which is by far one of the better ones I've seen on newer cars coming out these days. Beyond being a really crisp display, it's actually adjustable and can be set with the driver profile. The key fob plays a huge part in security of the car, as you can enable keyless entry and exit with a good amount of customization for this feature. Part of the tech package includes auto headlights with adaptive high beam control and rain sensing wipers, all customizable from the infotainment system. That is my review of the Mazda CX-60 2025. Now, with all of the improvements to the performance, you can really feel it, especially in the ride quality. Quite a comfortable car, quite stable on the roads. I just can't get over how bad the consumption is. It's abysmal. But hey, if I was living within a 10-kilometer radius of wherever I need to go, work, school, the mall, whatever, this car would be absolutely perfect. Got great convenience in terms of space. It's got great convenience in terms of customization. It's an absolutely techie car, but I just can't get over the fact of that consumption. Anyway, what do you guys think? Please leave a like, subscribe, and remember, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I don't know why I said I'll remember. I'll catch you guys in the next one.